Live now. Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with the host Elion, and we are here with the brilliant, the Dirtboys. So welcome, guys.
What's up, man? Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Glad to be here once again, Al. How have you been, buddy?
Yeah, could you? Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Being busy. So,
course.
could you introduce yourselves and what you do within the band?
Well, I'm Damien. I'm on guitar and vocal duties, songwriting duties, and one of the basically founding member of the Dirtboys.
I'm Travis. They call me Tragic Night on stage. I actually just got what do you call it?
It's our newest member.
Yeah, I just got picked up by these guys. We've been trying to play together for a while, and Dangerous Doug here kind of was like, "Hey, man, they need a guitarist." So now I'm on guitar with him, and it feels great to be playing.
And you guys know me. I'm Doug, Dangerous Doug Franklin. I'm kind of the guy that wants to keep these guys out of jail.
All right. It's management over here. PR, all of that.
Yeah. Which is why I look like this. I have to have this professional appearance, Oh, you there, Al?
Yeah, sorry about that. The program decided to throw me out.
Oh, man.
It's your damn show. They can't do that.
Get kicked out of your own show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. This computer's been a pain in the backside. I know that.
Yeah, we just did a gig last night. Shout out to Fan Sports Bar and Grill here in 29 Palms. Local.
Old Josh is watching.
It was a fun spot. We did some acoustics with a full drum kit. The whole band turned up. So we
Greetings from Venezuela.
really just hit it hard last night. Played a bunch of originals, bunch of covers. Had a great time. They showed us a lot of love and hospitality at that place. Definitely a spot to check out.
If you guys happen to be on this thing called Facebook, you'll see I posted probably 4 or 5 live videos and then one on Instagram. So check them out. These guys were on fire last night. It was a cool night. We had some guys sit in with us that were just there at the show. We had a blast.
Yeah, absolutely magical night, man. Yeah. We weren't really sure what we were getting into, being Travis's first show, and we didn't know if the whole band was going to show up, and it all just kind of fell into place, for us. And, tonight we're going to head to Apple Valley, California, and, we're going to pull a full electric set with a couple other metal bands and really, really, kick some ass.
Shout out to Froggies.
Yeah.
We're coming for
Froggies. We'll see you
Here
soon.
we come.
Cool. So let's dive into some questions. As kids, what were you listening to?
I loved Aerosmith, Metallica. Those were kind of my earliest influences, and Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, that sort of stuff. The classics, a lot of rock and roll, hard rock. But those were my very first influences.
I'd say for me, I grew up with a lot of Foreigner, Queen, Sabbath. I was big into Ozzy always. Alice in Chains was a big reason I started even singing. One of my main bands that a lot of people over here haven't even heard of, and that's a band called HIM, H-I-M, and they
from Finland.
They're from Helsinki, Finland. They taught me a lot about singing and stuff like that. Of course, Green Day. Green Day's influenced a lot of people from our generation.
Green Day was one of mine.
Teach you how to get that anger out on the power chords.
That was high school years for me.
Hell yeah. High school, I was actually into it was around the time that new metal was popping out with Mushroom Head, Mudvayne, Korn, Marilyn Manson. I was big into Manson back in the day. Stuff like that. Then I got into the black metal, like Cradle of Filth or Demi Borgir and Amon Amarth, bands like that, And now I write grunge music, which is the complete opposite of any of that. you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Michael
Yeah,
Jackson.
so
Michael
yeah.
Jackson was a big influence on me too. I really love Michael Jackson too.
Michael Jackson
He's got his stage moves.
Yeah, right. He's got the glove. He's got the glove, right?
Yeah, I remember getting Thriller on cassette. And like,
I'm gonna get a moonwalk into Diamond Jack. That'll be great.
Oh, I will. I can moonwalk now. Maybe not with the slip-resistant shoes, but those are a must on stage too. For it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
music, right? You know, that's one thing I noticed about the originals he writes too. Is you can hear a lot of the bands he just talked about or that I grew up listening to. You can hear a lot of that influence in like the structure,
little
and
bits and pieces,
the progressions
scattered throughout there.
yeah. Yeah. So who actually got you into music? Was it a family member or somebody from school, or was it somebody from completely different?
Oh man, I would say honestly, one thing that I remember as a kid that turned my attention to instruments would be Back to the Future. The scene where Marty's playing in the gym with the red guitar. I remember seeing that and was like, man, I want one of those. I want to do that, you know. And from there, my dad showed me Shooting Star by Foreigner. And I was like, man, that was like one of the first songs I'd ever heard in my life, you know.
Right, that was Bad Company.
Oh, Bad Company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
sorry,
Bad
Company. Man, talk about a voice. Paul Rogers is one of the best ever.
Yeah. I remember hearing that. I was like, this is what rock music sounds like.
Yeah.
I grew up in a Pentecostal family, so it was like I had to seek that stuff out through like my own accord somehow. There's no internet, so I'm like watching movies and hearing snippets. Or like first time I heard AC/DC was the preacher in church playing a sample of it, telling us that it was the devil's music, and that if you listen to it in your car, you'd get in a car wreck and stuff.
Well, look what that did to you.
Right,
for you. Not a good move on his part.
Starting out with music for me, it was weird because there was no music in my house. Like there was just no music. Like we had like an old record player with like these ancient vinyls that my grandparents never really played, and my dad, I don't know, there was just no music in my house. And then MTV was a big thing. Yeah, and it was like, you know, like they kind of let me watch MTV, but they were afraid it'd be a bad influence. So I'd like kind of like, you know, watch MTV late at night when everybody was in bed. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Play the guitar on the MTV, man.
I remember that video. Yeah, like that was my thing. Headbangers Ball in the mid to late 80s. Yeah. You knew it. You're from Saturday night from midnight to 3 a.m.
And when I showed interest in music, my dad he fished like an old acoustic guitar out of like some dumpster. He used to dumpster dive out of Long Beach. He brought home a little Yamaha acoustic one day and was like, here, you know, you're into the rock. It turned out he actually liked music, but he never spent time listening to it around me for whatever reason. And so he supported my music, and I just ran with it. I just, just kind of natural, I kind of learned out of Guitar World magazine, and, some of my friends played, and I would just kind of watch what they were doing. And, that was how I got my start in my teen years, my middle teen years.
I mean, I remember like before I even got my first instrument, I remember getting a fridge box and cutting the shape of a guitar out of it and like pretending like I was playing guitar. Then one year my dad for Christmas when I was like 10 bought me a First Stack electric. So I sat in my room and just strum on it and learned probably 5 or 6 songs on just the top string, like Smoke on the Water, of course, or the James Bond theme song was actually like one of the first songs I ever learned. But I was just hearing the music and playing it somehow. And it was like, man, this is pretty easy, actually.
My first riff was the opening riff to One by Metallica. Do 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 do. That was the first thing I ever learned.
Sick, yeah. Mine was that James Bond.
Yeah. Who actually inspired you to become musicians? Was it like a band or a Pacific guitarist or a Pacific singer?
Man, I would say like
you could just pick one
that got me interested in it. I would say honestly, my real big interest in guitar grew whenever I discovered Slash from Guns N' Roses as a kid. Playing Guitar Hero came out. I was probably 14 or 15. shredding that and learned my friend taught me the Sweet Child of Mine riff. And then from there, I was just like, man, like you can do a lot more than just play this top string, you know?
Yeah.
So from there, I was like, I think Slash is like a lot of the reason I picked up an actual instrument, you know, and really pursued it. Cause I wanted to sound like that. I wanted to have the look like that with the big hair and the top hat or, you know, stuff like that. Or I'd mimic like Kurt Cobain, like his dance moves and stuff. And was just like, for some reason, it just really made me feel better to the point where I was like, I was doing that every day after school, you know? Other kids are out at football games and shit. I'm at home jamming up.
With me, I mean, you know, watching MTV, but I think the moment I really got propelled into being a musician was, you know, I moved out here to the desert and I joined the jazz band in high school. And up until that point, I was just kind of an imitator. I was monkey see, monkey do, you know, and I thought I was just this killer guitar player. And anyway, my band teacher one day had this guitar player come in. And he walked right up to me and he was like, play me a G13 chord. And I was just like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And he walked away and I was like, oh, you know, and he's like, that was when I learned that I needed to learn the science and the mathematics behind music. And that skyrocketed me to a different, you know, dimension of playing music. I was no longer just imitating what I was doing. I knew the formulas and I was learning how to read music and I just buried my face in books and that was so jazz band. My music professor in jazz band, Mr. Kirchval, I could give a shout out. By the way, the last interview I did with you, he was like, "Where's that guy from in Europe? He's got a certain accent." And I think I remember I asked you. I was like, "Where was it?" He knew, and he was pretty much spot on about which region of you know, Europe or whatnot you were from there.
Yeah,
but he was. He was the one that pushed me into being a musician, a performer. So that's where I can give that credit to Mr. Kirchball, my band teacher.
I met him at a fan.
Yeah, he came out.
Super nice.
Still good friends with him to this day.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. So, were you in any bands prior to the Dirtboys?
Yeah, I played in it. My first band was a Stereotype in 1999 out here. I had a run with a band called Asylum, Hazmat, which was sort of a cover band. And then Dirtboys has actually been together for about 13 years now. So, I also played in Black Velvet, which was with the Elvis impersonator named Lee Birchfield, who's still active out in Florida.
Nice. Oh, that was cool.
And I was his guitar player.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, and Dirtboys has been my mainstay for a long time. And, you know, me and David and Jimmy all sort of founded the band and you know, we just keep rolling with it. and
I am happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, I won't let them stop. I annoy the shit out of these guys.
And we love Doug, man.
Yeah,
this guy, man, he's
really good, man.
Great promoter of all things music. And you know, I was in a slump for when the band was, you know, COVID almost took the band out completely, you know, and we were down to like maybe even talking, you know, about once a year or so. I think we had two little backyard show parties in that whole, where we used to play like 300 shows a year. And then we went down to not playing anything. And, you know, I was kind of ready to hang it up, and give up on it. And Doug sort of lit a fire under our ass, and now we got Travis, and you know we're ready to go full speed ahead again.
Yeah, we kind of have this vision of the Dirtboys taking over California eventually. So.
Oh yeah,
stay tuned.
And Arizona.
Yeah, the whole tri-state area. Right. Just move out.
Let's just add the whole damn country.
So hey, Wisconsin, a year from now, you're gonna know who these guys are.
All right.
We spread like COVID.
Yeah. Dirt Nation.
I mean, shit, you're going on what? Today makes what, show number 3 or 4 in a row?
Yeah, this is show tonight, show number 4 this week.
He's on a little mini tour this week.
Yeah, I played Lake Havasu, Arizona, Oatman, Arizona, 29 Palms, where we're at right now, and tonight, Apple Valley, California. Yeah. Then I'm going to go do some street performing down in Venice Beach and Las Vegas. So that's next on the list.
Cool. Yeah.
Video.
What has the band been up to? I know you've been playing. I know you got a gig tonight. But what else have you been up to?
Well, we got a little another single coming. I'm not going to give a timeline yet because we're just in the pre-production stuff of it right now. But with Jeff Westlake producing.
Yeah, we got some tracks sent off. We'll leave it a secret for now.
Yeah,
but we'll be dropping another one soon.
It's so hard for me to keep a fucking secret, so I gotta like hold back because then I'll say shit I shouldn't be saying.
But yeah, definitely more music in the works. We're far from done.
Yeah. Are you sort of like?
Yeah, I know. Now, me and this guy are going to collaborate. You know, and because I've been the primary songwriter for pretty much all of Dirtboys' career, but you know, now we can.
Which is awesome, man.
It's nice to have some fresh blood into the band and a new perspective,
and it's gonna be great.
I haven't clicked with another musician like this in a lot of years.
Here's the crazy part of last night. No rehearsal.
No rehearsal.
Not at all. Yeah.
I mean,
I live 160 miles away.
Do you ever hear about a band throwing a new guy into the mix without one rehearsal? Right. And you'd never be able to tell if you were in the crowd last night watching this.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
You would have never been able to tell. You would have thought this guy's been there from the get-go.
Oh, shoot. Wait for tonight.
Yeah. Tonight we're pulling out all the stuff. We already went. See, now we've officially had a little bit of a rehearsal.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly how it felt.
And so I already know tonight is just going to be brutal. You know. So I was worried. I live in Lake Havasu, which is about 160 miles from 29 Palms. So we've only kind of been communicating through email and messenger and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, well, here, check out the YouTube songs and learn them. And I knew that he was working on them. So I'm making the drive and I'm running late. And I'm like, man, we're just going to have to figure this out at the show.
I can just see you like, I hope this fucking guy really practiced.
I'm stressing. I'm like, are we going to be looking at each other like, oh no, because I've had that happen. I got up on stage. Yeah, I got it. They were like, man, you didn't even go over it.
Right.
But no, just from the get go, I was like, all right, man, we're in it to win it. And we were just playing song after song, like
killing it. It was great.
So, and you guys pulled off one of your original tracks.
He had never played or heard. I never really did,
that Cody guy that was sitting in, and you would have thought you guys have played that a million times.
Yeah, shout out Cody Maples. He's a great musician, really good guy.
Yeah, I never met him in my life. Yeah. We all
never met him. Yeah.
So here we are, El. We're sitting there. I'm not really paying attention because I go live and I really kind of like am focused on that. And here comes some random guy who just sits down behind the drums. No, he played guitar.
Well, I saw him messing with his guitar, and I was like, "Hey, did your friend want to play, a couple songs while we're on break or whatever?" And then he got up, and then it was like, "Well, play with me." And then next thing you know, all three of us were jamming, and we like pulled out a whole set. The crowd was loving it.
The bass,
it was like, oh wow, that was those are those moments you can't plan. They happen and they're magical, and I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I'll never.
And I mean, we went into stuff like Audio Slave and bands like that. Stuff you just can't really just pick up and play without knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it was the universe just showing us all that like the chemistry's there. This is about to be a huge venture for all of us.
Yeah.
It was great.
So Josh said last night's show was fucking awesome because he was watching.
Oh shit! Thank you.
Oh, captivated crowd. Everybody was there. They were hooked on every word, every note. It was
all
great.
Friends and family too. It was a big turnout, man.
Yeah,
it was great. Everyone had a great time with it.
Magical. And almost all of them were like, "Fuck, we're driving to Apple Valley. It's 2 hours away, but we're driving there too to come see you guys tonight too."
And that's what I try to push for too, is to have our locals go to their backyard and make noise for our guys. In there, it means a lot, and that music community in Apple Valley has totally embraced these guys. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's a great area.
It's a really tight knit group, out there.
And I want to shout out, our Apple Valley family. We got you from Mike Storm.
Mike Storm,
he's
a
out
big
there
part
in
of
Europe
this.
right now doing his thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which country he's in right now.
I think he's in Denmark. Yeah,
Denmark, yeah. And we've done about 3 or 4 shows with him out in Apple Valley now. Great guy.
Shout out 18 Taps.
Yeah, shout out to 18 Taps. Froggy's Bar, where we're playing tonight. With In Your Absence and A Minute to Die For, and Nightmare's gonna do his hip hop set, and then Dirtboys. We're gonna be full on Dirtboys tonight.
And I mean, that's what Dirtboys is becoming. It's a huge team at this point. Everyone's involved. Everyone's supporting.
It's more than just the musicians. It's the crowd.
It's the crew, man. The support is there. Definitely.
I've been calling it a tribe lately. We're kind of like our own tribe.
The Dirtboys tribe.
The Dirtboys.
It's a trip. Now we're playing shows, and all of a sudden, all these Dirtboys shirts come out every direction.
Again, shout out Mike Storm, man. He makes some great quality merch.
Stormhouse Printing in
California. Awesome shirts.
Which I'll be rocking my Dirtboy shirt tonight.
Yeah. I got some Dirtboy stuff.
L's going. Can I get more fun?
I know. We got to
questions, please.
So you mentioned earlier that you writing some new material and collaborate with each other to create new music. Is there any plans on doing any sort of like EPs or an album in the future?
Oh, definitely. We've got plans to record here this summer.
Yeah,
we shows out in Havasu.
Here's the thing with these guys, and now with Travis in the mix. Damien has at least probably 60, if not more, finished songs just ready to go. The hard part when you got that many of them is picking which fucking ones to do. And that's not an easy decision.
Yeah.
We should just
I'm going with the crowd favorites. I'm starting with the crowd favorites and then working to the rarer material.
Like shout out Diamond Jack and Purple Flower, 2 of the singles out right now.
You're like, how can a recording artist put out a box set when they don't really have anything?
I know. Well, I got 25 years. I've been writing these songs. I think the first song I wrote right around 98. 97, and I've been writing music ever since.
And everything I've heard is completely different too, which is a huge sign with
I got a few blues songs. There's a country song. There's a lot of hard rock, heavy metal songs. And there's some bluesier, jazzier stuff. There's ballads. There's metal songs.
One thing you're never gonna see from Dirtboys is fluff. It's all for everything these guys do is from life experience, from the heart.
It's all grit, man.
It's all grit. They're not going to just be hey, we want you to do this song just because it's going to be popular.
It's right there in the name. Dirtboys. We come from the dirt. We've lived in this desert for 20-something years, this little town desert, and we've survived, we've scraped by. We've lived in the dirt with our face in the dirt, and that's where the name came from. We're just a bunch of desert kids. We want to, all the famous people are in LA and stuff. They don't come to 29 Palms. Nobody cares about 29 Palms. So, we're just boys from the dirt.
So we're bringing the dirt to them motherfuckers.
Yeah, so they'll know us now.
Right? But that's what I was saying about every song being different is that no matter who you are, what you're into, you're going to find something from this band that you can relate to and vibe with,
Yeah, and they're all real emotional stuff. There's no ooh baby, you don't want
none of it's that. None of it's like
real,
generic. None of it's generic and shit. It's a lot of people a lot of these people send the same message in different ways, but with this band, it's like it's its own message. It's something completely different from what you're being forced to hear every day and listen to. This is stuff that, that's been developed for 25 years by him. A lot of that, he's suffered a lot of loss in his life. So have I. And with me, I was born in 29 and came back out here in 2014. And since then, I heard about him and his music and the Dirtboys and everything. And people were like, oh, you should play with Damien. You guys got to meet up. You got to check this guy out. And here we are. Everything just kind of fell into place perfectly when it was needed the most, I feel like.
And this whole thing started, I want to say 2 years ago. I know, El, you're good friends with my boys, Corners of Sanctuary.
Yeah, Corners,
repping today.
Awesome guys.
Which we played with them.
So we did a show together. here in 29 Palms at a cantina, and I put an ad out because Corners of Sanctuary was doing a mini tour. They didn't have all their equipment. They had basically their guitars, their drum heads, all that stuff. They said, well, if we're going to do a show there, we're going to need some local bands and use their backline. Well, the first one that when I put the ad out there on Facebook, he's like, Dirtboys will do it.
Dirtboys.
Which was the official first time I ever seen the band live.
Yeah,
so
you
then
were with,
your
you were
guys,
with Sharkfin.
you were with
time.
Sharkfin then, and that's how this whole thing, a couple of years later, has actually come to life. So
it's been worth it.
And another twist of fate thing, the set list I wrote for that show was at David's, where we met up before last night's show. It was like, all right, we're going to do these songs. We flipped it over, and his signatures and all of our signatures are on there from the Operation Desert.
I forgot all about that too. I was like, oh man, I signed that. Whoa.
that was
Cool.
Great chemistry, man. Like, I wish everyone could feel this.
So Mick, if you're watching, come on back out here. We're going to do this again.
Operation Desert Scream 2.
Number 2, man. Dirtboys.
Cool. Speaking of sort of like gigs, is there any sort of like plans to expand out for 29 Palms or going a bit further, to the West Coast?
Apple Valley, for instance.
Yeah, we're already expanded. I mean, we're playing Lake Havasu, Arizona next month. Apple Valley tonight. Vegas isn't going to be too far behind.
Yeah, and see, that's where I'm trying to go now is to reach out to Las Vegas,
Los
Laughlin.
Angeles.
We were just talking about the Whiskey A Go Go.
Yeah, we got connects for that.
Yeah, we might be playing the Whiskey A Go Go soon.
So we've definitely.
I'm heading to Hollywood next week and in the LA area, to scout and do my thing anyway. So something will pop up.
Right.
Yeah,
we're definitely not gonna just. I mean, we want to be very well received here in this area, but that we don't want to stop here.
Right. In terms of branching out, we're also looking to hit the internet really hard too, and all these streaming services for digital plays and stuff like that.
And LA's coming to us, too. This area of the country is getting more and more like Apple Valley. There's going to be a major train hub there going to Las Vegas soon from LA. The population's going to increase there. The more the population increases, the more arts and cultures you see in the area, and so it's
on the ground level too.
And we're going to go hard. We're going to keep going hard and until somebody stops us.
And that's the thing. What we want to actually create here in 29 Palms is our own scene, which there's a lot of talent out here that you would never know, and we want to kind of build a music community here with these guys being the heart of it all. That's what I see.
Dirtboys tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've met a lot of like virtuoso musicians that have never been on a stage, that they've just played in their couch, out in a cabin in the desert. Man. That are just like, why is this guy not world famous?
So anybody watching, I recommend if you have a local open mic night, go check it out. If you love music, go check it out, because when I saw the Dirtboys there, back in that March, at that open mic, my eyes were so open to these locals out here that
Joshua Tree has a really cool music community.
Definitely,
They have for a lot of years.
Not even just music. There's a lot of sculptors out here and all kind of everywhere. This is a really artistic area,
Yeah, there's a lot of music history kind of scattered, out here.
Oh yeah, Graham Parsons, who died in Joshua Tree Inn.
Dick Dale lived here for a lot of years. Robert Platt wrote a song called 29 Palms.
Yeah, exactly. I know somebody that he was staying at the 29 Palms Inn, and I know one of the chefs there that served him. She said he was so nice.
Really cool. Robert Platt showed up here and went to the Pappy and Harriet's open mic and just hung out with all the local musicians. They were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." Got up there, performed with them, and jammed with them and everything. It was a really cool thing.
Yeah, Paul McCartney's played out there.
Paul McCartney made a
band mom.
appearance.
For what?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
So yeah, it's a great area. People should check it out.
That's
check out
fine.
the music.
Actually. You can have some.
I just opened it
Do you
for
want the
him.
peach one? There's a peach one in there.
That'd be great. I'm gonna.
Yeah, go cherry lime.
You gotta hydrate. So we plan on coming over to your side of the lake soon.
Yeah.
So this is oh, cool. Cool.
Here you go, pop in and say hi. This is my honey
That would be
pie,
great
right?
if
What's good to be
you
white.
get to see if you come over and
Hi.
She's the one that really takes care of these guys.
hello.
Yeah, she keeps us out of trouble, keeps us
Yeah.
hydrated, fed, the occasional kick in the butt, you know.
Oh yeah.
You need it.
Sometimes you get 2 kicks.
Yeah, I get 2. I'm the rowdy one sometimes. Not as rowdy as old dangerous here.
Yeah.
You know, one band that we didn't talk about, bro, Pantera.
Dimebag Darrell.
Yeah, we're big Pantera fans. We're Cowboys, man.
Zach Wild, I love what you're doing.
It just hit me. I was like, neither one of us said Pantera. But we're like,
Charlie, don't let anyone talk
You guys
crap to
gonna
you.
see
Doing
that
great.
at all?
I wish, man. But their tickets are so expensive right now just to see Phil and Zach, you know.
Yeah. Love Phil. Phil was definitely a big vocal influence for me.
But $600 for a nosebleed ticket, I'm like, man.
I'm
I can't
very,
pull that
very
off.
fortunate
What's
that I
with
got to
these
see
concert
that.
prices, man?
I got
Spend that money on your local bands.
Yeah,
Yes.
for real.
Hey, that's a
Shit.
big message we put out there. There's nothing wrong with following your favorite bands. There's nothing wrong with that. Ticket prices nowadays, are crazy.
Through the roof, man.
It really doesn't cost a lot to show support for a local band because guess what? All those guys started somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
And a
so-
lot of times because they had help of their local town, their local community, you know, pushing them.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of great stuff out there, man. You know, some of these musicians, I've played the empty rooms before.
Rock Dog is watching, Mr. Doug Russ, my buddy from the
I
Midwest.
played a house party before where the dude passed out on the couch. And that was the only audience we had that night. We were like 14 or 15. Like, yeah, let's
I
play.
mean, every musician's got their dues to
Yeah.
pay, but yeah, I mean, hey, if you got $600 to drop on some tickets, man, go throw a
Nosebleeds
couple
are
$100
better,
at your local bands,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So this is probably going to be my last question before we wrap things up. Any advice for people who want to become a musician?
This is all on you
I would
two
say-
right here.
My biggest advice is just do it. Try it. If you've never played a drum set, sit down behind it and give it a shot. You never know. You could be the next Neil Peart. You just got to freaking try. Same with guitar. If you've never picked up a guitar, spend $100 on something decent. And who knows, like I said, like you could find out that you're the next Slash or somebody. So I would say if you've ever caught an emotion from music or ever had a connection with anything like that, then chances are right there you're going to be a natural. Chances are you're going to know how to send that out of your heart. You know what I mean? Either way. So that's my biggest advice is just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Even if the instrument just looks cool to you and you know nothing about it, try it. We got YouTube now. Growing up, I didn't have YouTube, so now you can go on there and learn how to do anything.
Yeah, man, I wish I
Right?
had YouTube when I started out.
So just give it a shot. I tell people all the time, man. They see my drum kit. Oh, I want to try it. Yeah, man, go ahead. I've played with people that have never drummed before in their life that could just sit down and write music with me on the spot just because I pushed them to try it. Oh, I'm scared. I don't want to embarrass myself. Dude, just freaking try it,
So
I
now,
never
see,
know.
now that I know these guys, I'm gonna end up being a virtuoso.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I'm still learning, 25 years, and I just took up drums this last year. I've never been a drummer, and I'm learning drums now. I'm learning new stuff all the time. I took up ukulele a few years back, which I like playing. You wouldn't think it, being the Dirtboys guy, but my advice for people that just do it and be yourself, become original, come with it. Don't try to copy, don't try to be like somebody else.
Right.
Play what you hear and feel in your heart and let people hear it. Tell us what you want to say and feel about your experience here on this earth and put it to music.
It's all
The world needs more of that shit. We don't need, 1,000 copycats, but always play it. You might not get the results that you expect right away, but remember, music is about the long game. It's about the long haul. You know, you got to start somewhere and you got to build momentum. And, you know, before you know it, crazy things are happening. You're doing 4 or 5 shows a week and in different states, and you know, you're on the radio or doing podcasts. You know, you never know where it's going to take you. You know, I've nearly given up a couple times, and so not only get started and just do it, don't give up. Keep doing it, even when you don't think it's getting you anywhere or you're not getting where you want to be. Keep going, it pays off in the long run.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and align yourself with like-minded people.
Network, bring your friends in.
And don't let anybody tell you can't do it.
Yeah.
That goes for whether you're a musician, a band manager, a PR person. Don't let anybody ever tell you that, hey, you don't know what you're doing, you can't do this, because that's bullshit.
I mean, I met Vinnie Paul from Pantera one time and asked him, hey, do you have any advice for a local band that writes originals? And that guy told me, just keep playing it. He's like, even if no one likes it, eventually someone's going to like your shit. Yeah. Just keep doing what you love to do and play, you know? So I think we hit that on the head, man.
Yeah.
You know, just get up and do it. Just give it a shot.
Just do it.
Who knows?
Keep it real, folks. Keep it real.
Sing, like, if you sing to yourself, I mean, here and there, like, there's a sense of, like, joy just from yourself doing it, you know, pushing yourself to do it.
Keep it real, keep it dirty.
We're going to start giving Doug vocal lessons, man.
Yeah.
That will require a lot of teaching, trust me.
We're going to get Doug up to sing Shoes by Cherry Pie.
Oh, hell yeah.
There are apps for voice training that you can get on your phone.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing, like she was saying.
There's a lot of tools now.
There's a lot of resources for learning, you know, but no better resource than put an instrument in your hand and start making noise with it.
Right.
That's where you start. You know, give yourself a year. It takes a while.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, sound advice. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you, Doug, for setting this up for us. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Been an absolute pleasure.
So, we'll do this again. You know, when we get this next bit of music out, we'll keep in touch with you, brother. It's always good to talk to you.
Purple Flower and Diamond Jack on Spotify,
baby.
The Dirtboys on YouTube. You know, check it out. Listen, follow what's going on, and watch us rise from the dirt.
Which you know, Purple Flower is now up to damn near 5,000 streams, and
it's on the local radio station today.
Yeah,
in a couple hours. It's on Z107.
Diamond Jack is not too far behind either.
Yeah, check us out. I mean, feel free to follow us on Facebook and all these different platforms.
We're going to be building a new Dirtboys Facebook page.
Yeah, we're going to
merch and an online store.
Yeah,
stuff like
we're going to
that.
put an online merch store. We got a lot going on.
Yeah. So if you guys like anything to say, you know, show us by clicking that button.
And if you're in the Apple Valley area, we plan on seeing you guys tonight.
Yep.
And be loud.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, we're gonna get rowdy. Sunday fun day.
All right. Yes. Summertime jam. Yeah. Thanks again, man, for having us on.
Well, you're a great brother. Take care of yourself, bud.
You too. And again, thank you so much.
Oh yeah. Anytime.